What up? This is your boy DJ EFN. You might know me as a drink champ, but first and foremost, I'm a proud father. I linked up with two of my other dad homies, Manny Digital and KGB, to start the Fatherhoods podcast. Each week, we bring you insider hip-hop stories, parenting, and advice and therapy. The saying is true, it takes a village, and we humorously serve as each other's trusted counsel in figuring out how not to screw up being a good dad.
The Fatherhoods Podcast. Beats, rhymes, and diapers.
We're back,
All right.
yo.
All right.
We're here.
Three
all
of us again.
Summer madness.
Yeah. How's that going, Kay?
Oh no, it's all good. I think we lead with summertime for all the time for our summertime episodes. But I do, and I think Manny, you and I were talking about this last go around. But I wanted to bring back up the idea of, like, at what point do your kids do you like loosen the grip for independence? And I think it's safe to say that when we were younger, all of us, probably at a younger age, were out moving around, without parents, like doing stuff.
Yeah.
And it just felt like that was the norm. It was, that was kind of what it was. But nowadays, even with more technology, tracking device, all that kind of shit, like I just find myself, like, my son is at an age now where he's wanting more independence and he wants to, like, oh, can I go walk it down and do this and that kind of stuff. And I'm like, and I keep struggling with, all right, when do I say, all right, go test it out, go do it? Because it builds the confidence. But then I'm also like, I don't want someone rolling up and kidnapping you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, when do you guys think? And I don't think there's an age, like, it's a cutoff age. Every kid is different. But I don't know. I mean, what do you like? I know you have younger kids. When do you see yourself and or Manny, like, when your daughter got to your oldest, when she got to a certain age, and even with your son now, like, when did you let your daughter start going off and doing things on her own? And, like, when do you see that happening for your son?
E, you want to start? Because I know you let your daughter go buck wild out there in them streets.
Bro, this guy be saying the craziest shit now on this pod, acting like this shit won't, like, people won't believe it. No, my daughter doesn't go anywhere in the streets, fucking asshole. I was gonna just say the exaggerated truth because in Latino world it could happen. I'd be like, yo, it's 25 years old, 30 years old, they can't do shit.
Right.
When you 30, then you an adult. Go and do your own thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I don't even want to think about that time frame where I'm confronted with that. So I'll let Manny roll because he's in that place where I'll eventually be.
It's interesting because it's not something that I think we really gave it a lot of, like, proactive thought around. And I'll start with my oldest daughter. So she's now 18. When the social aspects of her life were kind of what put the pressure for us to start moving and expanding her liberty. But the way we prepared for it, quote unquote, was just having her understand what trust is, how you build it, how you ruin it, how long it takes you to build and establish trust, how quickly you can lose it. And examples throughout, like, I don't know, throughout her life, but, like, I'd say, like, 8 to, like, 12 years old, there were probably a bunch of them that made it really clear for her. And so once we got to a point where there was established trust and we knew that, she can maneuver without causing herself any real harm or poor decision making, then we felt more, I think organically we felt comfortable, like, letting loose the leash a little bit. And it started with, like, going to friends' houses. And to this day, like, sleeping over, we don't do any of that crap. I don't care how old you are. But that's not true. We've made exceptions. Very rarely it's happened for both my son and my oldest daughter. So that started around 12 years old, though, with her. She got her phone at 12, which I wasn't a fan of, but my wife kind of pressed that. So because she was going to middle school and there was all
Wait,
this fear,
have we been doing this podcast
that
this long?
was
Because I remember
a long
the
time.
conversation. I
Yep.
feel like I remember the
I
conversation about
mean, it
your
wasn't
daughter
12.
getting the phone.
Well, yeah, I guess, yeah. Because I'm thinking 12 years, but no, it's not 12 years.
We're
It's
going
It was
on,
12.
I think we're going on 8.
8. Okay, so that would make sense. Yeah. All right. Sorry.
Wild.
No, all
Continue.
good. I know it moves quick. So, yeah, 12 years old was when, like, I'd say, like, the big milestones kind of came to be. And we just rested on the fact that we had that trust built up
Yeah.
and reiterated before we allow her to do certain things that were out of the norm. Like, yo, remember, and we point to examples. Remember when you messed up the trust that we used to have? This because of this thing and how long it took you to regain it. This is another test. Make sure you don't screw it up because we're allowing you to do X or Y. With my son, I remember more clearly some examples. Like, he's now 12, and this is when we are allowing him to do things like go to the community center by himself, which is across the street from our house, which requires him to actually cross a road, which there's obvious danger there,
Hmm.
and then go into a facility that we know the people there, the people that look out for the kids and stuff, but still, right? Like, there's some concern to be had, and it's very secure. But regardless, like, that's a step for him to go. We've also allowed him to go to the park again, across from our house, but with some of his friends to go hoop. So we've given him some of these liberties, and so far, it's worked out. But I'm more loose about it than my wife is. So it cost me a lot to convince her and kind of coach her, like, yo, we gotta let him explore a little bit. Here's why this makes sense, and kind of sell her on it at the end of the day. So I'd say so far for the 12 has been kind of like that age where we've let go more.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, sounds about right. We're in that zone too, but yeah, I know he can do it. It's less about him and more about just the outside forces. I mean, I know he's been wanting to say go like there's like a shopping center down the street from us. He's like, I can walk down there and go get some stuff or whatever. Like in my mind, like, yeah, I know you can. Um, but I'm also like, yeah, I don't want you. I think what we've come to the conclusion is like, why don't you have a friend come over, and if the friend's parents are cool with it, then the two of you can walk down there and do that, so that there's just a little more safety in numbers that way
Yeah.
as an
Yeah, I think that's
experiment.
fair. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't recommend an adult doing a lot of things by themselves in this
Yeah,
day and
it's
age.
true.
So, when my wife wants to do certain things and she wants to do it dolo, I'm like, man, can you get a friend to go with you to this thing you want to
Right.
do?
Yeah.
It's important though. Like, it is a badge of honor for the kids. Obviously, like, they want to.
Well, they won't
Yes.
get the confidence and the independence unless they are actually doing it. And that's
Yeah, they need
the
the
conundrum,
experience.
right? So it's like you want to shelter and you want to keep them safe, but they're never going to understand it and learn it unless they go do it. So it's the tough, yeah, it's nervous to rip the Band-Aid off you know, and then like my son is always saying to us like, well, you guys always tell me like, you were way younger and doing X, Y, and Z, and I don't really have a good answer for that or
But
response.
but also when we were, I mean, I can't speak for you guys, but I know in my case, a lot of horrific shit happened when I was younger, when I was out and about, that I luckily survived. I mean, maybe horrific is too an exaggerated word, but some of it was. Some things where I could have been not here definitely happened. So, you just think like, you kind of think of your own life like, wow, I dodged a lot of
Yeah.
bullets.
Yeah.
And then you think about putting your own child in that experience to dodge bullets. And what if they don't dodge?
Hmm.
That's the part that fucks with your.
What if they're not good at playing Frogger and they get
Yeah,
fucked up?
that's
Yeah.
basically, like,
Yeah.
And then what happens is then you realize, okay, my kid doesn't have the same skill sets that maybe I had in a pre-digital world and dealing with a bunch of craziness in school alone as a kid that allowed me to be out in this wild, jungle by myself.
Yeah, I think the scariest thing for me, and this is a generalization, but just watching the, friends and the kids this kind of age right now is I think some of the kids nowadays lack some of the situational awareness that maybe we had. And
100%,
that's
yeah.
the thing that makes me nervous of just like, simple shit of just getting out of the way, being able to know when to get out of the way when something's coming,
Yeah.
and so like, and I don't know if that's like device driven screen, because of just the digital world, but it feels like there's a lot more of a situational awareness disconnect these days.
I think the lack of experience by far, I think, is the biggest driver of that, right? And it's that catch 22 because like you're not gonna put your kid in a situation that doesn't make any sense at 10, for
Yeah.
instance, right? So like, where is that right fit where they can start to branch out? For me, again, like I've discovered, I think 12 is good, and that's one of the things about school that I really value because a lot of people homeschool, but going to a public school or a school where kids actually have to go there um, helps to develop some of this stuff because there's going to be circumstances inside of schools. I mean, hopefully not as severe as like bullying, but I don't disagree with the fact that bullying to a lesser extent is healthy for the kids.
Right.
Like we used to snap on each other. Like today, that'd be considered like full out, bullying.
Right.
Whereas, depending on the severity, I guess it could be, but like you would challenge each other. Like, oh, all right, you talk about my kicks. Okay, cool. Let me come up with something clever. Might take me a day, but I'm gonna come back. And it was just like, in good fun for the most part, but like it challenges a kid to kind of figure out, like, all right, when is this serious? When is this not?
Yeah, you
When
get
could
in
I
trouble. You're
engage?
getting in trouble. You'll get in trouble at school doing that these days.
Right.
These-
No,
Right.
the
it's
teachers will be
happening.
like, "Yeah, oh, this is not. You're not talking
Yeah.
nice to each other."
Right. But like kids still do it. Like
Yeah.
and then there's this, there is a sense of loyalty in not snitching still. I notice with my kids. So depending on, who they're dealing with. So like that environment does help a bunch, I think, helping to shape them and understand some level of situational awareness, but that's still in a confined kind of structured environment.
Depending on the
Outside,
school you go to, though.
right?
Yeah.
That's
Right.
true.
Yeah.
But outside, like it's no holds barred. It's very unpredictable, which we got a lot more experience of that they don't.
Yeah.
I do find generally though, like while that is lacking, the awareness is lacking. Most of these kids are nice. Like even the ones that are like pushing the envelope, the way they're pushing it, I'm like, oh, that ain't a big deal. But everybody's like, oh my god, like making it a big deal. But really, it's innocent.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, I'm wondering if this is relatable. So my daughter, she's been in a ballet camp, and in the other, and she's considered one of the bigger kids in the camp because I guess those are the bigger ones that are there. And she was coming back from the camp talking about ghosts, and that and she was like all chill about it, like, yeah, ghosts, and there's a ghost in the camp, and the ghost does this, and my friend, she sees ghosts and she talks to ghosts, and I'm like, she's like, Daddy, do you believe in ghosts? And when they ask me, do I believe in ghosts and aliens, the answer that we generally give them in our home is kind of like an honest answer, saying, I really don't know. I said, I don't really know. Some people believe in it, some people don't. I've never seen it firsthand, so I can't answer that. That's what I tell her. So, but she was acting like the ghost thing was a fun thing. Like, yeah, there's ghosts here, and there's a ghost in our house, and there's a ghost that does this over here and move this over there. And my friend, she talks to the ghost, and I'm like, all right, cool. My wife was a little concerned with it. I was a little bit like, nah, it's innocent. it's creative. It's creative. They're being creative, and that's whatever. They're just using ghosts. Well, it turns out I was wrong because what happens? My daughter starts waking up in the middle of the night, coming in the room, scared because of ghosts. And then another parent that has a smaller kid around them in that camp kind of like vented to my wife or kind of snitched to my wife about like your daughter and these other kids are talking about ghosts and they're scaring the smaller kids. And so my daughter didn't want to go to camp today. Mind you, just last week, ghosts was all the rage. Like she didn't seem scared at all. Like it was all the fun. Like ghosts are fun. And today she didn't even want to go to the camp because she was scared of talking about ghosts or hearing about ghosts from it seems like there's one main girl that says that, she talks to them and she's the one that perpetuates the story, but they're all kind of like talking about it in the group. So my wife had to go and talk to the people that run the camp and be like, hey, can you guys keep an eye on this and try to like, change the convo? And they were all like, yeah, we were aware of it. One of the other like
Parents.
coaches, no, one of the coaches is actually like an older, like a teenager. So the lady who runs the thing like told her like, yo, I told you need to like, make sure you keep an eye on that because the teenager was kind of like having fun with it too. And she's like, nah, like we need to nip that in the butt. But yeah, I just found that I was off. Like I thought
It was just
my daughter was fine. And it turns out, and then I came to the realization my daughter was just being brave to not show weakness in front of the other kids and going along with it and then carrying that, psyching herself out, bringing that home like, yeah, ghosts are fun or ghosts are this and ghosts do this. And she's really just talking to herself like, yeah, believe it. Ghosts ain't shit. It's fun. This is fun. And it turned out that didn't last and she broke.
That's funny. That makes sense though. Like to be afraid of stuff like that makes a lot of sense. It's weird to be talking about in a ballet camp though, I guess.
It's kids, just kids
Yeah.
being kids.
Yeah, they're random shit.
She had
Especially that age.
I think in the same camp before, I don't know if it was in the camp or something. I thought this shit died a long time ago, but the Bloody Mary thing, she popped up. When some
Really?
kid was like turning off the lights talking about Bloody Mary or something to that. I don't know if it was exactly Bloody Mary, but it was that vibe. And I was like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
I forget what it was called. We talked about it on the episode one time. That newer version.
Oh, the newer version. Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember what that's called.
That shit had my kids bugging. I was like, well, leave it alone. Don't get involved. So I like to use our conversations as like a opportunity to like, share my sins, I guess, in fatherhood.
Oh, here we go.
So yesterday,
to our fathers and one Hail Mary,
and be on your way. So yesterday, my son has been asking me to do a fire in our fire pit for like a few days now. And my son, when he's like locked in on something, he wants that shit to happen like immediately. Right?
Won't forget about it.
And won't forget.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, all right, yeah. I gotta go get a starter log, and I have a process. And so he kept like asking, and some family from out of town is here, so they picked up on it. They went to the supermarket, bought some stuff that isn't the right stuff, but bought something to try to help with the starter log shit.
Set your house on fire.
So finally, I like just wrapped my day yesterday. I had a long freaking day, and I sit down, and then I get a text from him. Yo, Dad, can you do the fire now? And I'm like, I try not to let him hear me like show up, being upset or whatever. So I kind of keep it in. He didn't see anything because again, he just texted me from a different room. So I get up, I use the things, try to start this fire, and I get it a little bit, and then I call him. I'm like, yo, it's on go. And I was like, you got to be there with your sister, your older sister, because I don't trust y'all. and they wanted to make s'mores. So he comes in a few minutes later and he's like, "Yo, the fire's out."
That was an outside pit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He's like, "The fire's out." I'm like, "Fuck, okay." And then I get out there, and this was there before, but I didn't really like. I wasn't messing with it. So there's a bunch of like long branches that were relatively fresh. And so if you know anything about how to structure a fire, do a fire, like you need dry
Dry
wood.
wood,
Like you
right.
can't have anything that's like fresh in order for it to stick. So I guess I was already annoyed about all this stuff. I had a long day, so I see the pile of wood and it was a lot. I was like, "Yo, where did you get all this from? Like this is all moist." And I know I had a tone about what I was saying. And I'm basically telling him like, "Yo, you can't use wood that's not dried and build a fire. Like that's why we have all the logs in the back." And I'm, explaining this to him, and he's taking it like I'm blaming him.
Mm.
And I could see how he's after the fact. I'm like, I could see that. So I'm just like doubling down. I'm like, "Yo, man, I need you to take all this stuff, put it back where you found it, because this is ruining the backyard and it's useless for what we're trying to do." So tomorrow, it was night already. I was like, "Tomorrow, I need you to do this." And so finally, I'm trying to put the fire back on. I couldn't get it to turn back on. So I was like, "All right, guys, you're just gonna have to call it a night." So I come back in. He comes in ahead of me, and he's like upset. So he goes straight to his room. And I come in a little bit after him, and I'm like, "Yo, what happened? Where's he at?" And my wife, I hear her like running around, like chasing him or whatever to see what's going on. And I'm like, "Yo, what happened?" Because I really didn't pick up on in the moment. I didn't know what I was saying
Yeah.
exactly, but like I didn't think I was doing it to a point where it would make him, upset. So I go to his room and I'm like, "Yo, what's up, man? Why you crying?" He's like bawling. He's like, "Cause you made it seem like I'm supposed to know everything, and I
Oh
didn't know
man.
about that." And I, but I was like, "But did you ask me? Like, should you be piling up all this wood for this?" He's like, "No, but I thought that would be helpful." I'm like, "Okay, all right, fine." And I kind of just squashed it and I left it there. And then, because I didn't want to continue to like, because we were kind of arguing. I didn't want to
Yeah.
continue arguing. I was
Blame
like,
game.
yeah, I was like, "That's stupid. Like, he's not feeling well. Obviously, you are the reason. Like, if you ain't got nothing good to say, get the fuck out of the way." Right.
You're a
So,
dick.
so that's what I did. So I explained, you know, tried to do it, without being a dick, and I left. And then this morning, like, I had the night to think about it, and I was like, "I got to make this right. I can't just fucking leave it the way it was." So I saw him this morning, and I like made amends with him. And again, I didn't. I usually like to try to continue to explain shit in order for my point to come across. And I was like, this isn't what is necessary. Like you already did that yesterday. Just apologize and don't say because or but or nothing.
Right.
Just like straight up apologize. So that's what I did. Atoning for my sins. That's what this segment is.
Did it work?
Yeah, yeah, it did. Um I always find like when you give it a little bit of space, it's more meaningful and it feels more like not like you're trying to squash something for the sake of squashing it, but more so like you actually mean it because you had time to think about it, and the genuine nature of it comes through.
It is hard as they get older and they are more mature, and you just kind of forget that you're talking to someone who
To a
has,
kid.
limited
Understanding.
experience with some of these things, that you just take it for granted that, they should know. Of course you should know that you don't use fresh wood. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It can be hard to remember that sometimes.
But then when I sat down and I just thought about the intention behind what he was doing, I was like, that's cool. Like you were trying to set me up to be successful with this fire, not understanding the dynamics of it, but like you put wood there because we need wood for a fire. I get it.
Right. And ultimately it's being helpful, and then even if you weren't going to hang out the entire time, it's still something that he's doing with you, even if it's at the beginning of it.
And I totally missed that piece.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I guarantee he's never gonna use that wood again, though.
No, he's not.
So something came out of it. Guys, before we get out of here,
Yeah.
one thing I did want to bring up today. Oh man, come on, it just jumped off my thing. And I know I probably sound like a broken record talking about this type of stuff,
You're right.
but, and I know we don't have enough time to even talk about it, but I'll bring it up anyways. So, a scary fact: 65% of all jobs could vanish due to AI and automation by 2030. While most are still entertained and focused on things that mean absolutely nothing. If you're not learning new tech, building a business, and investing wisely, odds are you won't survive this shift. That's one thing. And then I saw another thing, another video. Let's see.
Yeah, we started talking about that 2 weeks ago.
We did, right?
Yeah, we started, but
We didn't have enough time. But so my question of this AI stuff, I don't know if you guys, I know Manny's the ultimate optimist and
Yes.
it's all gonna be fine. But when it comes to the kids and their education moving forward, because all this AI stuff is happening so rapidly, what are you guys thinking about in trying to steer your kids in the right, in the right direction in terms of their careers or what they do in the future? Because the other video that I didn't, it's too long to show anyways. I was gonna let it play, but it's basically saying that all these tech companies, all the AI experts, all the scientists, all the whatever, all the people, there's a bunch of people that are coming out saying that all these jobs will be wiped out. Will be. It's not if they will be wiped out. All these low level white collar jobs are going to be gone. And so what does that mean for our children?
I think that's the topic for next week's podcast for
It's
sure.
a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
It's a
tune in
load. It's
next
a loaded
week.
question for sure.
So okay. So I set it up for next week,
That was
and
good.
we could play the clip of the end of this for the intro of that.
Perfect.
All right.
All right. Until next week, y'all.
All right now.
Pizza.